and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. Thank you very much for coming over and pressing play to see what this is all about and what I'm doing. I'd like to say a really big thank you and welcome to my new subscribers. I've got 3 new subscribers because a very dear friend of mine has put my channel out there for people to be able to find it, because like I've said previously, it's really hard for people to find my channel. Even when you type the name in, it doesn't come up. So I am really seriously beginning to believe that I am being shadow banned, probably because of what I talk about, and so I do need to try and be a bit more careful. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to say it as it is, because I'm a strong believer in that. So I feel if I was to start kind of censoring myself, then I would actually be going against who I actually am. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to ask you lovely people out there to please help me by sharing my video and subscribing to my channel and helping me get the messages out there of what is happening at this time. And my friend Jerry, I just really want to say thank you very, very much for doing what you've done for me. It has made a huge difference. Even 3 subscribers means that there is more people becoming aware of what's going on out there. So thank you. And the reading that I'm doing, the reason that I'm here today, is for this new moon in Cancer, which took place today at 51 minutes past 3 in the morning. So it's already been, but I do like to do the reading on the day of the energies, because I like to pick up the energies rather than doing it like beforehand. So that's why I nearly always get my videos out just that little bit later than most everybody else. But I'm going to get into this video now and say that we've got some big energies on the table. I have already laid the cards out, but I'm going to choose an angel script card for the overall energy at this time to give us some idea of what's happening at this Cancer new moon. It is big energy, and this is the first part of my 2-part series that I do for the new moons and the full moons. So this is the tarot part. There will be an astrology part being put out later as well, for those of you interested in more of the astrology. And as always, there will be a link in the description box down below for you to go and check out, which your own personal natal chart as well, and find out for yourself where all these planets are taking place. We have the energy of Raphael again. Comes up a lot, this card, all about healing, which I think is quite a major energy in play at this time. It is the divine physician who brings comfort and healing to those who are lost on their path. Its task is to reassure and to bring us back into harmony when we are unsettled and perplexed. Raphael brings understanding and a cleansing of the heart so that we move forward refreshed. It allows us to take our rest and dress our wounds. It soothes pain and anoints the troubled brow with the elixir of life. Raphael casts out negativity, holds our hands, and patiently encourages us in our purpose. When we are weary from travelling and feel that our intention has been thwarted, Raphael is able to cast out doubt and renew hope. Often we find ourselves on a path which seems to lead nowhere, which is kind of, I think, a lot of us are feeling that at this time. Often we find we may set the same landmarks time and time. So we may see the same landmarks time and time again and feel we cannot move forward. Raphael comes to support us and offers fresh insights. Raphael's purpose is to encourage growth and create the new by realigning us. To this end, Raphael may be instrumental in the bringing together of souls who need to be united in a common purpose. Raphael presides over weddings and blesses the bride and groom. In order to maintain the creative vision, the divine continually seeks equilibrium. The manifest world requires a flowing in and out, up and down of opposing energies. Sometimes the smoothly running river becomes a choppy sea. Raphael pours oil on the waters so that they settle into an even pattern of ebb and flow. Raphael reconciles and brings all things back to grace. So it does kind of fit in with the Cancerian energy of the emotional healing. But let's see what is on the table at this time, what the cards are saying. We're starting the reading here with the Two of Swords. And as you can see, those two swords are crossed. So there's conflict, there's arguments, there's decisions that need to be made. And this character is standing in between these two people, which happen to be the mother and the father, which is interesting because that is the axis that is being activated at this time with Cancer and Capricorn. There is actually what's known as a grand cross, a grand cardinal cross, which is taking place. But again, I will talk more about that in the astrology rather than with this reading. So yeah, this is the mother and the father of this character here, and he is being asked to take a side, to pick a side, to choose where his loyalties lie. And he actually doesn't want to have to do that. He doesn't want to have to take a side. He doesn't want to choose between either one, because he knows by doing so it's going to cause a lot of upset, a lot of problems, a lot of grief in the future. So that's why he's got his hands over his ears, his eyes are tightly shut, and he really does not want to be there. He would rather be anywhere else but there. And so we have it over the top, the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is the Cancerian energy. It literally has a little crab down there. So it is the Cancerian energy of compassion, kindness, self-love. And I think that's the message here with this Two of Swords, is that we need to be kind to ourselves. It's like we've got these vying, conflicting energies happening all around us. But ultimately we need to focus our attention and our love on our own needs. And that doesn't mean in a selfish way, it means in a healing, like Raphael says, in a healing, soothing, calming. Because this moon is a big energy moon. And there's going to be a lot of conflict coming out over these coming weeks and months. And this is just the start of it, really. We've got the new moon conjunct this energy which is known as Black Moon Lilith, which is the apogee of the moon. So the point of our moon when it's furthest away from the earth, the dark side of the moon, is conjunct the moon and the sun at this time. And Black Moon Lilith is a difficult energy. Again, I go more into that in the astrology reading that I will be putting out there. But in our heads and what we're aware of at this time, we have the Four of Cups and Judgment in reverse. So this is the emotional. Again, we've got the two here, and this person, this time this female, sitting in between. It's very similar kind of energy in the sense that it's saying, you know, there's two sides to every story. Be careful what you listen to. Listen, but don't necessarily just go by what you hear. The Four of Cups is a card of well, with these two here, they're both whispering to her, to this character sitting here, which is Psyche, which again is quite prominent in the Cancer energy in many ways. Psyche being kind of the emotional energies that we deal with, our psyches. And she's very, in this card, she's disappointed. There's disappointment there. There's upset. She's had to make this decision, and the decision that she's made, or is going to make, because these two sisters of hers are whispering into her ear about how things might be. They don't know for certain either, so they're just presuming, or they're also coming from a place of, I want to say, oops, without dropping the card, I want to say it's a place of possible misinformation, which is why we need to listen to our own feelings, our own knowing on these things. And that's what I feel this Judgment card, which has come out in reverse, is saying as well. Because the Judgment card is about letting go of the past and moving forward. We've got these ghosts rising from the coffins down here. And it's very much an inner world card. So it's very much about our inner personal space, our inner emotional personal space. And these ghosts represent situations, people, events, things that have happened in our life previously, our families, our, what's the word I'm looking for, our generational ancestors. And the need to let these things go, the need to forgive and move forward, move beyond into this garden out here. But we can only do that by letting and releasing all these old emotions go instead of holding on to them, which is kind of what's being discussed here in many ways with these two sisters. But there's this fear here as well. There's this fear of not wanting to go there, this fear of what we will discover if we go down into the depths of our own emotional graveyard, as I like to call it, the place where we bury these things that we hope are never going to come up to the surface again. And with Black Moon Lilith again being conjunct this Cancer moon, this is the energy that we're dealing with. Also with the South Node at this time in Scorpio as well. But this Black Moon Lilith is really about the repressed, oppressed energy. Male or female, makes no difference. It's about the things that are not spoken. Things that are not spoken, the taboos, the things we're not allowed to talk about, to mention, to acknowledge, which get shut away in the dark. And like all things that get shut away in the dark, they become bigger and larger than life. So I want to say that there's also at this time this energy of like Chinese whispers in a way, and we're going to need to be very discerning about what we believe is real and what isn't real. And that's when it comes down to our own kind of knowing. but we do need to deal with all of this past energy, which we don't want to acknowledge, we don't want to look at, we don't want to necessarily go there. But this Black Moon Lilith and the fact that we've got this grand cardinal cross is kind of forcing us into that situation, because cardinal energy is very fast moving, it's very active, it's very forward moving energy. All the cardinal signs are the 0 point of Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn, and they are all the axis mundi points as well on the zodiac wheel. Again, the astrology will explain more about that, but basically it means that it's activating things on the world stage. And because this is a cardinal cross, we're going to see all of this energy kind of really play out over these coming weeks and months, of things that have been kept in the dark, kept hidden, the lies, the deceit, the Chinese whispers about things, the fake stories that we're told, all that kind of thing is going to come to the surface. And we have the energy moving away, the Ten of Pentacles, which at this time is kind of, well, it's an ending card. I've just been drawn back to this as well to kind of talk about something else here as well, which is the it's difficult, but the deaths of things as well. Like, we're beginning to realise that there's a lot more kind of coming out of the graveyard, so to speak. Seeing things that are unexpected. Okay. Right, so the Ten of Pentacles, like I was saying, is a card of, well, it's a card of success. It is the family card. It's quite Cancerian again in its own way, because Cancer does relate to family, its emotional roots. And this card is about having got to that point, the kind of achievement, the success, having it all, having the abundance, which is also the family as well. And of course we've got all these issues, which I think is kind of where this is going as well, all these issues that are going on, particularly in the States at this time as well, about the idea of Roe v. Wade, and which I've spoken about previously as well, and since the last time I did the videos it's actually been overturned, so there is this huge amount of kind of anger and rage, and again that's another Black Moon Lilith type of energy. So this kind of talks about the same thing as well, because this is legacy. If you see here, he's cradling this baby, and down below there's this little child playing with its toy, and these two are kind of like your traditional family, shall we say. And so it is also about legacy. It's about what we're leaving behind for those that are coming after us, our family, our children, our grandchildren. What kind of, sorry about that, got a bit of a dry throat. What kind of environment, because Pentacles is very much the physical world, it is the environment around us. What are we leaving? What have we created on a collective scale that we are going to be leaving behind for, like I say, those that are coming up after us? And are there going to be Is it like even going to continue in the same way? The traditional family is kind of being demolished, for want of a better word. It's kind of being really ripped apart and shredded at this time. And that moves me into the energy of what is below us and what we're not so aware of. And we have the High Priestess and the Chariot, both in reverse. Big energies, Judgment, the Chariot, the High Priestess. Again, it's this underworld energy that we're dealing with. Both of these, if I turn it up the other way, you can see both of them are very similar looking. We've got the garden here, we've got the garden here, and we're kind of in the depths, in the, again, like the emotional graveyard of having to kind of face things that we don't want to face. The High Priestess talks about intuition and knowing, our gnosis, our innocence, a place of purity, a place of what's the word I'm getting here? Yeah, like this purity, there's something kind of innocent, naive, possibly as well. Because in the Greek myths, this is Persephone who was taken down into the underworld by Pluto. And it's come out with the Chariot, and the Chariot is in reverse. And this is Mars, or in the Greek known as Aries. So this is that energy that I was talking about. This is like the cardinal energy, the very forward moving, fast, active energy. But at this time, we're not, it feels like we're kind of stuck in this place of not wanting to go towards what we know that we have to face, what we know that we have to look into, what we have to acknowledge. And again, if you look here, we've got these two horses and this character's in the middle again. So kind of talks about balance as well. Again, being in the middle of something. Seems to be very much the kind of theme at this time, is kind of being in the middle, caught in the middle. Even here as well. And this is Hermes, also known as Mercury. And there's even a similarity here with these two cards as well, the way that she's holding these flowers, and then these flowers are kind of like falling, although these are not the same person. There is a really strong kind of connection here. Again, maybe to do with innocence, naivety, being easily led down a path that we may not want to go down, or refusing to go down a path that we need to go down as well. There's also something about this kind of belief, if you like, or this kind of like what we don't know won't hurt us kind of feeling here as well, like some innocent kind of like, if I don't know about it, then it's not entering my world, it won't hurt me, it's not personal to me. So both of these were actually in reverse as well. So because this is in the subconscious as well, and they're both in reverse, to me it's kind of saying that there's something like a real blockage here like a real blockage of I do not want to look at this, I do not want to acknowledge this, I do not want to take responsibility for it even. I don't want to go there with it. I don't want to kind of look at it. So the energy that we have moving towards us is the Six of Pentacles, which is about compromise, balance, fairness, harmony. But in this particular card, in this particular deck, it also talks about how this character here appears to have the upper hand. He's sitting on his throne, he's ruler, he's a king, he's got everything he needs, except he doesn't have his skills, and he needs his skills in order to be able to achieve what he needs to achieve. This person sitting on this throne actually needs this person here, and it's kind of talking to me about the you know, those who have put themselves on these thrones, like made themselves more important, shall we say, than those down here that are doing all the actual work for these people. And that there needs to be like a compromise here. Although he's on his knees down here and he's begging because he's lost everything. He has nothing. He literally has walked away from everything that he had. And he had to do that. So he's begging, and he doesn't realise how, in fact, he has the power in many ways. The power lies more in his hands than it does in his hands in this particular situation. So when this card comes in, when this energy comes in, it's kind of saying to me that it may appear that this energy here is more powerful and more yeah, I'm just getting the word kind of powerful and has it all. But in fact, it's this character down here who, unbeknown to him, actually has more influence, more power. And I think that kind of says a lot about this energy at this time as well. Because we have the Four of Pentacles, which is this same character here. And the reason that he is now here is because he was too competitive, shall we say. He was too competitive. He couldn't work as a team. He couldn't allow himself to share his wisdom and his knowledge. He wanted to keep it all to himself. And he was very jealous of this young boy here. And because of that, he actually ended up murdering this young lad in order to get rid of the competition. Even though he taught him, he was his teacher, and rather than kind of realizing that he could learn from him as well, he decided he was going to wipe out the competition, which is quite an interesting analogy, really, if we think about what's happening at this time. So because of that, he then had to leave everything that he'd built up anyway. He lost it all. So there is a warning within the Four of Pentacles about holding on too tightly to what we have and keeping the status quo, which is also a kind of feeling with this card here as well. Is like not moving forward, keeping the status quo, keeping things the way that we understand them, we know them, we can relate to them. But by doing so, we're not allowing in anything new. We're not allowing ourselves to learn anything new. We're not allowing ourselves to go beyond where we have already been, and we become stubborn, pig-headed, stuck in our ways of thinking, not wanting to accept that there is more. And then we have the Three of Pentacles, which is interesting because it's almost like it's going back the way from the Four to the Three. And this is the collective energies at this time. And the Three of Pentacles to me is kind of talking about the need for community, which is what this started to build up. It's only because of these people here that this same character here was able to build up his business and become good at what he did, because of the kindness and the goodwill of other people giving him the means in order to be able to do so in the first place. So this is kind of saying to me that there is this need to start sharing more, to stop being so insular in the way that we approach things, to even look beyond the family, because this isn't just family, this is also, or to recognize that everybody is part of the same source of energy. And also there's another message within this card as well, that he had the chance to then pay that kindness back, and unfortunately he did the opposite. Instead of being grateful for what he had, he decided he was going to commit murder, basically, and like I say, get rid of the competition. So this card is saying to me that there needs to be more awareness of helping each other out, building things together rather than isolating ourselves, which is what we have been kind of pushed into doing for a long time. And then we have the Eight of Swords in our hopes and our fears. Again, it's in reverse. And it's saying that there is this kind of fear of being trapped, being caught in this because it is self-inflicted, this trap. In kind of saying to me, are we going to stand up and allow ourselves to be put in this situation, which again is already being spoken about. It's already being kind of like put out there into kind of the atmosphere, into the psyche, into the general kind of environment of like, this is what's coming again. Again, we're going to feel trapped. Again, we're going to be shut down, isolated, put in our boxes, closed down. And yet with this card, there is always the ability, because those swords are only in front of him, and he only stays there because he believes that this authority here, or this madness here, which is these furies, and the furies are representative of our own madness, our own kind of like personal inner things that drive us mad, insane mad as well, like proper insanity type of madness. And it's kind of saying to me that, you know, how crazy does it have to get before we will kind of just walk away from that situation and just say, I'm not playing that game anymore. And then we have the Justice card as the last card in reverse. Again, this sense of imbalance, this sense of things not being as black and white as they seem. There is always these grey areas which aren't always taken into account, particularly when it comes to things like the law courts, which is basically what this kind of card represents, justice. Decisions that we've made already, also kind of leading us down a path that we can't stop because the decisions have already been made. So we're already kind of heading in a direction, and it is kind of like, is that a direction that we want to be heading in? Even though this is, when it's in reverse, it kind of talks about staying stuck in the status quo. But the Justice card also talks about a lack of emotion as well, because it is all very cerebral, it's all very logical, it's all very mind. Whereas the High Priestess down here is the total opposite. This is all about the feelings, all about the intuition, the instinctual, the knowing from the gut feeling. This is very much about the logical. But again, when it's in reverse, there is this sense of things needing to be put right. There is a karmic element to the Justice card as well. As I was saying, it's like the past creates the present, which creates the future. So there's this kind of karmic consequence to the actions that we've already taken. And that's kind of on a collective scale as well. Collectively, where we're heading. So let's see what the confirmation cards would like to say to us here at this time. For the Two of Swords and the King of Cups, we get the World in reverse. Interesting. So again, this sense of imbalance, and very even more interesting actually, I've just realised that this is the Cardinal Grand Cross, because the Cardinal Grand Cross is the Aries energy of fire, it's the Cancerian energy of water, it's the Libra energy of air, and it's the Capricorn energy of earth. So it's all there, all of that energy is there in that card. So of course it's all the elements as well, and they all have their own place in our world. I mean, the world talks, the card itself talks about endings and beginnings. But this Cardinal Grand Cross is a big energy that we're dealing with. And it is really like, I mean, I don't want to say it's like setting the world on fire, but it literally has got that kind of context at this time. Because things are going to move so quickly. So quickly. And it almost feels again like this sense of not knowing what the heck's going on, not knowing yeah, because there's this jester in the middle of that card as well, this kind of fool energy, which is the journey of the fool. The fool represents us and is sitting or standing on top of this world, this globe. And it looks a bit like a porthole as well, which is interesting. It's looking a bit like kind of looking it through a lens at this time. Looking into another dimension. But it's not, what it's kind of saying to me is this is not easy energy. This is not going to be an easy time. If we're expecting things to be easy, then it's not. It's really not going to be easy for us. And again, it's kind of this sense of imbalance of the energies, imbalance of things not being connected in the right place. I mean, the world is literally made up of all these different elements as well, which is really interesting. But it should come out as this cardinal cross energy. And cardinal cross energy, that is in the cards behind me, the last card there is the Grand Cross energy. And it's an energy of provoking things. It's provoking, it's pushing, it's four. We're dealing with 4 squares, 2 T-squares, and 2 oppositions at the same time as well. And that's what is actually happening in the astrology at this time. There's so much just involved in that alone. And then we've got all this other energy that's happening as well. So it's challenging, it's difficult, it's a struggle. And there is this need to kind of like integrate it all together, somehow balance it all together, balance out all these different emotional, or not just emotional, but elemental forces within us and without as well. So we are dealing with a lot of emotion at this time, a lot of raw emotion at this time as well. And like I was saying, it is going to be played out on the world stage. This is the world stage. And it may appear at this time that it's all screwed up. And when we see it, when we look at it, when we think like everything that's going to go down, it's like, oh no, this is the worst scenario possible. But in fact, it's actually breaking down a system that is no longer compatible with us. Which is why it's come out in reverse as well. Because it's no longer working for us. It's a system that needs to be broken down. And by doing so, that's also like the Three of Pentacles energy here as well, this kind of moving into smaller community, family oriented, but family as in tribe, as in coming together with like-minded people who are all ready to work together on the same idea. And then in our heads and what we are aware of, we have the card of victory. But again, it's come out in reverse. So there is this feeling of, like I was saying, this is literally like I was saying, that everything may seem to not be going right. That it all just seems like hell in a handbasket, is what I'm being told. Hell in a handbasket. Okay. Because something to do with expectations as well, which is also coming through with this Four of Cups as well, like expectations. What we expect and what we get. May not be the same thing. Which could be causing some sorrow, sadness. There is going to be sorrow and sadness, which in itself is also going to take us down into this underworld, like, even if we don't want to go there, down into the depths of our deepest emotional fears, is what I'm being given. Fears. And we have the Three of Coins again, but this time it's in reverse. So this is the Three of Pentacles here, and this is the Three of Pentacles here. So this is the energy that's moving away. So this is the legacy energy that I was talking about. And this is kind of saying to me in reverse that it's time to rethink it, through what we're doing. Because the Three of Coins, again, here it's that kind of community energy. Like people coming together to create something new. But it's interesting because there's two of them here that are the same, and then there's this one here that is still in the process of being made. But it's bigger than the rest of them. So there could also be a message here about focus our attention on what's coming, on what is being created. The Three of Pentacles can also talk about, yeah, teamwork, working together. Which is kind of something that we've not been encouraged to do, is also what I'm getting here. We've not been encouraged to work together. We've been encouraged again to kind of like be the one in charge, Like, no matter how you get there, it's always about being bigger and better. Is kind of what's coming through for me here. Being bigger and better, and that's not necessarily true. And we've all kind of followed that path of wanting to be more, or I'm just getting this general sense of business. Of things changing. There's things changing when it comes to that whole idea of money and how money is earned. How we've kind of based our lives around the need for success. Coins is the physical realm. Always looking to build bigger, better. And yet at the same time not acknowledging the kind of source as well, source of where it all comes from. That it comes from the planet that we live on. And not acknowledging that you can't kind of just take everything that you need and not give anything back is also what I'm getting here. So we have another reverse card. We have the Ten of Swords, and the Ten of Swords is a particularly difficult energy, and it's underneath, it's in our subconscious again, and it feels like again, I mean, these swords to me are very kind of representative of this kind of medical procedure that has been forced on so many people in order to be able to do anything. And so the Ten of Swords, again, it's an ending card. It's a finality within the Ten of Swords. And I mean, when it's in reverse, to me, it's almost like impaling ourselves. Is kind of how it comes through, because these swords are kind of upright and he's kind of impaling himself, it looks like, on those swords. You can see that figure there. But there's also a sense of kind of like just giving up, of no longer really caring, of no longer like wanting to be yeah, just kind of not even wanting to be a part of life. Because he's got his hands, if I turn it out the other way you can see it better, see this figure there, his hands are kind of over his head and he's kind of not wanting to even look up. It's almost like he's accepted his fate somehow. He's accepted his fate, is what I'm getting. But I also want to say that it's a really dark energy. It's a really dark card. It's like when you get to the end of all of that hardship, sorrow. But I also want to say more than that. I also want to say that it is like death from 1,000 cuts is kind of what's coming through here as well. It's like the sense of yeah, I'm just getting this kind of sense of accepting fate, just accepting that there's, or this feeling that there is nothing that can be done, which is why this Chariot is in reverse and why this High Priestess is in reverse, why we don't want to acknowledge the pain and the fear, because there is also a lot of pain and fear involved in the Ten of Swords as well. It is the mental realm, but our mind is so powerful that we create these situations even though we're not aware that we're doing that ourselves. It is kind of like the dark night of the soul energy, really, which is what I'm getting from this here as well. The dark night of the soul. Not seeing a way out. Not wanting to face what's coming. Just ignoring reality, ignoring what's around us. There's also a sense here that the inner pain is more painful than the outer pain. There's something else that I'm getting from that card. So the Six of Pentacles is here because it's challenging us, I feel, to step back into our power. And we have the Knight of Wands and the Tower has come out with this as well in reverse. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is the Knight of Wands. Again, it's quite astrological, what I'm being kind of shown here. The Knight of Wands is similar to the kind of Mars energy, Eris energy, that is very much about, well, it's in Aries. It is this card here, as I was talking about, this Eris, the god of war, thunder. You can see all that storm behind him. And that's another thing as well that I'm getting, just as I've said that as well, is that it's kind of trying to hold that storm back. And instead of trying to kind of outrace it, which we would be doing if it was up that way, we're kind of allowing this storm to catch up with us because we're not moving forward. We're trying to keep the status quo, and thereby we're kind of staying stuck. And things are coming up behind us or in front of us, behind us. It feels like to catch up with us and to kind of make us deal with situations. And that's what I think this energy is here. We've got the Tower energy and the Knight of Swords energy. There's a lot of, I mean, when I look at this, I see Mars and Eris, and I see Black Moon Lilith opposing an energy called Pholos, and it's like the breaking down. This Tower is the breaking down of our kind of yeah, because it's come out with the 6, it's over the top of the 6 of Pentacles, this power game, and this is that energy. Because that dragon is just breathing fire, and that's kind of what I was getting earlier here as well, as I was saying, like, this, like, setting the world alight. And in doing so, it's going to bring things down even quicker. It's like this cardinal energy that I was talking about here, the cardinal Aries energy, the fast moving. Active, doing. Which is going to kick in. Like at the moment, we're kind of in this place here, but this is the root cause, this is the subconscious, which has of yet to become conscious energy. But it's like taking that energy and just bringing that tower down, literally bringing that tower crumbling down around us. Because this, to me, is the establishment energy, and there is the establishment sitting on its throne. And this Knight of Wands is the energy of, again, it's kind of what I was saying, it is that fast moving, quick action, fiery, impulsive, doesn't think things through. What am I also getting here? Like the head energy, like, yeah, coming from the head, acting from the head, like just instant action. Never mind the consequences. It's just like, this is what needs to be done now. This is what I'm going to do. And that is the Mars energy that we are going to be dealing with this Eris. Eris is his sister. She's non-conformist. She's discordant energy. She's strife energy. She causes problems. But she does so because she wants to level the playing field and make things even. And this is what's happening with this here. It's literally bringing down this established energy here. And that's what we're going to be moving into. Established energy, that, you know, everything that we've come to believe as being real or right or it's like the facade, the illusion. It's like seeing all of that crumble. It's like seeing things for how they really are, the Tower energy. It's like sweeping away all of our crutches, our things that we believe are important. The Tower for me is like those, like putting the stones all around ourselves and kind of blocking ourselves in. It's this energy here. It's this same energy of allowing ourselves to kind of block ourselves in, trap ourselves in a certain way of being, a certain way of thinking, a certain mindset. Taking all of them. So the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. Why is the Four of Pentacles here? What is the Four of Pentacles saying? What's the deeper message with the Four of Pentacles? Holding on to things that no longer work for us, which again is this Tower energy here. It's a very similar kind of idea from this card. Holding on to the old instead of allowing in the new. It's kind of an energy that, again, I'm not taking all of those. It's an energy that only in being broken down can it allow for the new energy to enter, for the new to begin. And over the top of the Four of Pentacles, we actually have the Five of Pentacles, which is really interesting because this is about loss as well. As I was saying, he lost everything because of its actions, because of how he behaved. He lost everything. And in the Five of Coins, we see somebody who's outside in the cold. They're not part of the whole. Somebody who's struggling, somebody who's having difficulties. Which is kind of where we are heading at this time as well. It's not going to be easy. It's really not going to be easy. And there is going to be this kind of lack of luxury, for want of a better word. Again, because it's coins, it's practical, it's earth energy, it's financial energy, about the breakdown of everything that helps to build up this energy. The towers, the ivory towers in which these people sit. And if you see here as well, interestingly, the electricity, or the lightning, should I say, which basically is electricity, hits the top of this tower. And the top of the tower, of course, is the establishment. It is those that sit on their thrones and they're in their boardrooms and make decisions for the rest of us and decide what's going to happen to the world in the next 50 years or so. And they plan their own idea of what should and shouldn't be. But these cards are kind of saying that that isn't going to necessarily work out the way that they think it's going to work out. But there is this hardship coming. There is this, and I spoke about this last time as well, this hardship that is coming. These difficult times when we need to be prepared and to work together and not leave people out in the cold. There's also another message here, and I'm not quite sure what this is about, but there is, in her arms, she has this baby. And for some reason, I'm seeing it as this child here. This baby kind of grows up to become what could have been somebody who was very very skilled at what he did. And it's that kind of energy of, like, you know, they can change the world. A skill can make all the difference. But if you take that potential, which is the baby here, if you take that potential out the picture, then what are we left with? And it's kind of saying it's going to be a cold world, cold environment. Also something to do with the family. And then we have the Sun with the Three of Pentacles. And this is a beautiful energy. This is a really beautiful energy with this Three of Pentacles, because it's really saying that things are going to get brighter. This is in the collective space. But it's going to take us working together. It's going to take us kind of building things from the grassroots up to create new visions, to allow these new visions in, is also what I'm seeing with this Sun card as well. Because here we've got the Sun God, which of course the planets are evolving around here, kind of creating these new experiences. What we feel what we experience. And there's a joy and a happiness in this card as well. This card is always seen as the best card in the deck, the Sun card. It's brightness, it's joy, it's happy, it's optimism. And I'm seeing it as a card of kind of like, after this energy here, it's kind of like the clouds parting and the sun kind of shining. There's also a sense of as above, so below in this card as well, which again is to do with the astrology as well. And this kind of sense of like, you know, like with this fated energy down here in a way, it's like, you know, we can't avoid the bigger energies. We can't avoid them. What we do with them makes all the difference, but we can't avoid them, which we have been doing for a long, long time. Kind of giving away our powers. And over the top of the Eight of Swords and our hopes and our fears, we have the Knight of Swords. Sorry, the King of Swords. Yes, the King of Swords. And again, we have these swords coming down the side here. They're not in front, so there's a kind of maturity that's happening here as well. This is hopes and fears. So it is almost like we're kind of beginning to realize that we have that strength of mind, kind of willpower, even though it is in reverse. So there's still this energy of feeling like we're not fully there. There's this kind of sense of is it or isn't it us that are doing it, in that sense. It's like I'm seeing this as this mind card, and as I was saying earlier, the mind is very powerful. So there's also this sense, also I'm kind of seeing it with this, like the clouds parting and the sun coming through, but it's just like glimpses here. But there is this similarity of this entrapment, but we're not as trapped with the King of Swords. We're not as closed off, which is what the reverse of this card is saying to me. There's still this kind of closed off, closed down energy where we're still allowing ourselves to be kind of spoken down to, or again, Chinese whispers, like being told that this is how something is, and therefore we just kind of fall into place with it all. But there is this sense of kind of beginning to open our eyes, open our mind, to see things a bit clearer, which again is, it's this Sun card energy as well, seeing things clearer, not allowing ourselves to be so what's the word I want to use here? Not allow ourselves to be so manipulated. Manipulated is the word that's come through there. And also I want to say discerning, to be discerning, to become more discerning in what it is that we allow into our mind, what it is that we allow into our mind, into our emotional bodies, because what we let into our mind, we also let into our emotional bodies as well. And our emotional bodies is kind of like the engine that drives, because it then kind of creates this passion or this fear, or wherever we place that energy. And then we have the Hermit as our final card here, which I'm really liking. I'm really liking. And I'm liking it because it's kind of saying that it feels like there's a maturity happening here throughout these cards. It's kind of like realizing that we are masters of our own destiny is also what's coming through here. And it's over the top of this upside down Justice card as well. So again, there is this, and I keep getting this energy of like the logical, cerebral, very academic kind of world that we've kind of been in for so long, which governs the justice system, etc. Words being spells, that are courts that are used to kind of catch us and bind us. And again, this energy here, swords being the mind, words also very provocative, things that are kind of told us the way that we're told them, very provocative. They can cause emotional outbursts, emotional, like what's the word I'm getting here, like control, like we can be controlled through our emotions. It's also what I'm getting from this. But this is kind of saying to me that we are learning to actually take more responsibility for ourselves here with the Hermit energy. I always see the Hermit energy as being that energy of responsibility, that we are taking that back. And also, whereas up until now we've kind of been in fear of going into the unknown realm, into the emotional graveyard, there is within this card a sense of kind of working with the shadow energy and realizing that a lot of it is no longer who we have been, that we've grown, that just kind of get this maturity, that we've grown beyond a lot of stuff, we've grown beyond our own kind of fears, and that a lot of this has been about maturing. I also say, like with Saturn in Aquarius as well, Saturn is the hard taskmaster. He's also kind of the karmic energy as well, actions, consequences. And this is us kind of taking, it feels like taking that, although this is a Virgo card, usually seen as a Virgo energy, the Hermit, I also see it as being that kind of that more gentle side of Saturn, that once you've gone through all the hardships and the difficulties and you've learnt your lessons and you've kind of come to terms with things, that there's this kind of sense of peace and tranquility and knowing, like a knowing that it doesn't matter, that we can face anything. We have the ability to grow and mature through it. I always see the Hermit like a graduation energy as well, like graduating from something, like university of life, if you like. Right, so I'm going to leave the actual reading there and do one of these cards. I'm not going to use that one or two. I'm going to shuffle them properly because they kind of weren't, they're really big cards. Really big cards, so it's difficult to hold them. But a card for this Cancerian new moon reading, please. A card for the Cancerian new moon reading. Nope, I'm not taking. Okay, I'll take that one. Don't know why. I'm kind of drawn to taking that one. It's got a similar feel to me as this Knight of Wands energy here. So I have no idea what this card is. It comes from the Inner Vision deck. So I will need to find it as well, because they're not numbered. Although they do have titles. It's finding the cards, so sorry about this. E. Oh, come on. Where are you? What are you? What do you mean? Be with you very shortly. Please don't click off, because this could be an important message for somebody out there. It's probably going to be at the very front of the book. Nope, can't see it. It would help if they were numbered, but they're not. So there's not much I can do about that. So I just have to find the picture which it relates to. And I've got to say again that these cards, every time I see them, there's something new, and it's almost like I've never seen these cards before. I'm always shocked and stunned by them. I'm always kind of like, oh, I've not seen that one before. So... is that it? Ah, okay. I actually have it up the wrong way. That's probably why. So that's the way it looks, or should look. Ah, there's quite a snake energy there actually. I'm just seeing that now, which is probably why it reminded me of the dragon. But it's called Initiation Through Evolution. And it says a figure emerges from behind the mountain. Or is it a mountain transforming into a figure? Not quite sure where that is. Oh, it's down here. So our mind-body units come from the earth, but it is the consciousness that points the way towards evolution. The flames around the mountain edges are not unlike the effect given off by the electromagnetic energy from the earth, which can be felt and seen by sensitives. This electromagnetic energy is plentiful in deserts, forests, by the sea, and huge expanses of water, natural places. This card is about transforming passion into compassion, transforming desire into nature's fire. The base chakra and the crown are very much related, and in tantric magic it is a well-known practice to stimulate the base chakra in order to activate the crown, as above, so below, which is interesting because I actually said that just a little while back. Those that have eyes to see can pick out the legs of the main figure in the card, which is seated with the knees up. The path of the Om leads through to the base chakra, where the Kundalini energy is awakened. The snake of desire becomes the serpent of wisdom. The figure becomes at one with all the desire of compassion, nature's fire, the serpent of wisdom, the mountains and the sky. The perfection of peace, profound in the knowledge of the unity of all things, shines forth from the serene face which gives a knowing smile. It's also reminded me of this energy here as well, the kind of balancing of all the elements. as I was talking about earlier. On close inspection, the figure appears to be emerging from the mouth of a snake. The 4 fangy teeth of the snake representing the 4 worlds we have to be in control of if we are to be fully awakened, which are the world of earth, the 5 physical senses, the world of water, the emotions, the world of fire or temperament, and the world of air or intellect. This is a card of transformation, shedding a skin or way of life. To evolve through growth and initiation. It is also a card of inner reflection and retrospection. It is said, he who clams up veils pearls. That's very interesting, and I'm just going to add this card to it as well, because I do think that there's a lot to be had in all of these cards here. So, though this may be only bull to the dozers, it is the awakening and the awakened that will recognise the virtues of silence. There it is, that hermit energy. Remember, they lock parrots in cages, whilst the silent fly free. So, interesting energy to end with. Evolution. Evolution. Soul evolution, which is what this is all about, which is what this whole experience at this time on this planet is all about, and where we are heading. So I feel the need to just pull some last reflection cards here, and then I'm going to call it a day. So thank you very much for staying and listening to my reading. I hope that you found something of interest in it. You can and you will be complete within yourselves by knowing and touching your light force within. That evolving energy. And if people need help, they will come to those souls who can help them. No one need feel they have a mission to heal. Just be available. I actually saw that one earlier today. And watch your trees, watch them and listen to them. Look at them, link to their higher branches. Those 2 both fell out earlier when I was shuffling, so obviously they're meant to come out. So look to their higher branches. Look above. Look to the sky. And so I'm going to finish the reading there. Say thank you very much to those of you who have watched my reading. Like I said, I hope that you found something of interest in it. If you have, please like it for me, thumbs it up. Because like I said, my channel is being shadow banned, and it's really difficult for me to get views or for me to get my message out there because of what I'm trying to say and what I'm being kind of told to put out there, so to speak, shall we say. So yeah, please, for those of you who have liked and have subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you being here, and I really would appreciate, I don't know where the word approve just came from, appreciate you sharing my messages, because they're not approved by this platform at all. This platform does not like what I have to say. So I'm saying it in an astrological way because it is as above so below, and I want people to understand the reasoning why things are happening the way they are happening. But we do, of course, all have that free will to make our own minds up as well. So with that being said, thank you very much again. Enjoy this new moon in Cancer as much as you can. And hopefully I will see you all again soon. Take care.